Welcome to Rochambeau, the podcast about unique competitions and the extraordinary competitors that make them happen. I'm Kim.
And I'm Ted. This is our Season 2 premiere.
Yahoo!
If you haven't caught up on Season 1, go back and give it a listen, and we recommend you do that with CastBox. We love and used CastBox. It has great search features, and it's pretty awesome.
That is true. So we're going to get right into it, and today's episode...
Ta-da! The World Beard and Mustache Championships.
Well, there's full beard natural,
full beard styled mustache, natural mustache, styled mustache,
English mustache, Dali mustache, Hungarian freestyle mustache,
sideburns freestyle, imperial partial beard,
natural goatee, Chinese mustache, Fu Manchu,
a musketeer mustache,
cheek beard freestyle in general,
and then Alaska whaler. Or if you picture like the Gordon's fish guy, yeah, that's a good one.
The World Beard and Mustache Championship is an amazing event, and it's a gathering of facial hair enthusiasts. These men and some women that we'll talk about later, they take enormous pride in growing their facial hair into the most extravagant shapes and sculptures possible.
And also sometimes just a perfectly natural, fantastic beard.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's beauty in all of it.
Yes.
The World Beard and Mustache or Mustache Championship takes place every 2 years in a different location around the world, and the next one is happening in May in Belgium.
We caught up with Ronnie Vermeulen, the president of Antwerp's Beard and Mustache Club, to learn more about what to expect from the 2019 World Beard and Mustache Championships.
Well, I'm Ronnie Vermeulen. I'm president of the Snorde Club Antwerpen. That means the Mustache Club from Antwerp, Belgium. And we are organizing the World Beard and Mustache Championships in May 2019. Well, I've been a member of the World Beard and Mustache Association since the beginning, and I think it was 2004. And we've been to many World Championships, but never intended to organize one of our own. But then a couple of years ago, our English friends from the Handlebar Club asked us why not do it in Antwerp, and then maybe we drank a little too much beer, and we said yes, we will do it. So now we're kind of stuck with it, but no problem, we're ready and we'll go for it.
Back in 2004, when the World Beard and Mustache Association came to be, it was for a very specific purpose.
It was to be sure that there was only one world championship, because I guess there was a lot vying for different world championships.
Possibly?
Yeah, I guess. A lot of beards out there.
And then we talked about forming the association to be sure that there is only one world championship every 2 years, and people could organize it, and then the council would decide which country will organize it. So every time there is a world championship, we decide on who's going to organize it 4 years further. So when we do it in 2019, it will be decided which country or club will organize it in 2023.
They are very organized. Not only do they get together to discuss when and where they're going to have the next one, they also meet once a month and also do other activities.
Like visiting some fairs, walking around. We have a giant puppet that we take along with us in parades and things like that.
Really?
So we're always, we have.
That's so cool. What does it look like?
Like a guy with a mustache.
I think I should have probably guessed that.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about the championship, but I want to know a little bit more about you first. Can you tell me what type of beard or mustache you are personally fond of and that you grow?
Well, mine is a musketeer mustache. So it is a mustache with a small beard.
How old were you when you first started growing an elaborate musketeer?
Oh, I think for the musketeer, that's about 15 years ago, I think. So I'm 60 now. It'll be somewhere around 45.
Do you remember a time in your adult life that you didn't have facial hair?
Yes, when I was something like 18, 19 years old, and I went to the army, and I shaved my little mustache in that time. But then I thought I had a baby face. And then after my service in the army, I started growing mustache again and never shaved it anymore.
I bet that's a common reason for a lot of people to grow facial hair for the first time.
Is they have a baby face?
Yeah.
They have a baby face? That was hard for me to say. Because they have a baby face?
Yep, I think that might be common.
Yeah, that's why I will not shave my beard. I look very funny without it.
You look great with a beard, though,
Thank you.
I don't know why you would ever shave it.
Right, and I won't. It took me so long to grow it. Like, we're going to hear in these stories that a lot of these guys had beards at 13.
Right.
I grew my first goatee at 30.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Luckily, it was a style then. But
That's true. Actually, when I met you, you did not have facial hair, and I can attest, you look better with facial hair.
All right.
100% accurate. All right. So aside from the musketeer, there are a ton of other categories.
Right. Who knew that there were so many styles and types of beards and mustaches?
Yes, I think we have about 16, 17 categories now. But there are three main categories: mustaches, partial beards, and full beards. And they all three are divided in 4 or 6 categories. Like mustaches, you have a Dali mustache, you have the natural, the English mustache, Hungarian, all kind of types. But before the championship, you have to go to the pre-jury, and they will see if you fit in that category or not. If you don't fit, they will ask you to choose another category.
One neat thing is that the jury, the judges, and all the rules are defined by the club that is hosting the competition that year. They have a lot of leeway in what happens at the championship, what categories there are, and in Belgium in 2019, Ronnie will have a Best in Show award.
If you're going for an overall winner, of course you have to choose one person, and mostly it's one of the beard category because they have the greatest portrait of hair, and you can do a lot with it, of course.
I love that phrase, the greatest portrait of hair.
Indeed. And boy, do they do a lot with it. Mm-hmm. Ronnie describes a few of the standouts for us.
Yeah, these are pretty crazy.
Oh, yes. Maybe I can tell you about one winner, Elmar Weisser from Germany. And like in Berlin, he had the Brandenburger Tor in his beard created.
What?
But his hair, yeah, it's very strange. And when he was in England, he had the Tower Bridge in his beard.
Oh, my gosh.
Incredibly. And like in Norway, there was, I think it's called a sleigh with the reindeer, all in his beard. It's really awesome.
You are blowing my mind. That is amazing.
Yeah, it certainly is.
That is amazing. What about some of the more elaborate mustaches?
Well, in mustaches, you also have a freestyle. And, one of the Americans, he had like a spoon and a fork formed with his mustache hair. And, of course, he was wearing a cook's hat, and he had some cook's tools in his hand. So it looked kind of funny.
Hilarious. Hilarious. Do people often incorporate themes and costumes into the presentation?
Yeah, and of course they they dress up also like the mustache of the person they want to create. But it should only be about the mustache or the beard. But of course, when you dress up a bit, it will make a difference in the points of the jury.
I love that even for facial hair, there's always fancy dress. Always.
Always.
Man, do we love some costumes.
Yep. So they dress up to accentuate the beard and the mustache, but of course the beard and the mustache are the most important parts of the costume.
There's a couple of other rules as well.
Well, you cannot use unnatural colors. So you don't paint your beard blue or purple or things like that. It has to be a natural color. And also, you're not allowed to use any hard things on your beard. Everything you do must be with either gel or wax or hairspray. These things are all allowed, but no really material things like plastic or iron.
Nothing foreign for support.
No.
Speaking of support, there is a large community that supports these competitions, and they make sure to get together as much as possible.
Yeah. We certainly do. We have the board of the World Beard and Mustache Association. We have a Skype meeting almost every Sunday evening. It's not really a meeting. It's just with chatting around and asking about families and things you're going to do. And, of course, every 2 years when we meet at the championships, you always see people that you only see once in 2 years. So it's always nice to meet again and have a drink together and talk about everything you want to talk about. Women, beer, eating, drinking, things like that.
Beer, eating, drinking, and beards. Perfect.
And women.
And women. Don't
Of
forget
course.
women. Sorry.
Of course, of course. All right, so that's how the competition breaks down. Let's get a glimpse of some of the competitors.
And I think they're going to be rather colorful.
That's right. First up, we got a world champion for you.
MJ Johnson.
My name is MJ Johnson. I'm a 4-time national beard and mustache champion and a current world beard and mustache champion. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and my first contest was in Austin, Texas. I was going online and I saw photos of the World Beard and Mustache Championships earlier in the year in Alaska, and I was a little bit blown away. I didn't know beards and mustaches could reach that level, so I thought it might be fun to give it a go just a little bit to see what actually happened at a beard contest. I was online. I found that there was a contest in Texas. And I was like, wow, that's really far away. So I threw it by my wife. I was like, hey, you like Austin, Texas, right? She's like, yeah, of course. That's how I sold it.
That's good.
And I was like, why don't we go down there? And I want to go to this beard contest too. And I thought she'd laugh it off. But she really was into it. She's like, yeah, let's go. Let's book it.
Awesome.
I was like, great, let's do it. So we went down to Austin, Texas. And I was in just the mustache category. And it was like a turning point in my life, almost. There was hundreds of people there. Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top was one of the judges.
Cool.
They were filming for a TV show called Whisker Wars, which is, you can watch it on Netflix. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's just on beard contests in general.
Oh my gosh.
I made a whole bunch of friends. It was a huge party. I lost. I definitely didn't win. I didn't really understand what was going on. I didn't know what to do, what people were looking for. I didn't know it was that big of a deal. Like, there was so much going on.
What was that competition in Austin called?
That was it was held by the Austin Facial Hair Club, and it was the Misprint Championships, so to speak, which is the event is now called Come and Shave It. And I think they're on year 13 now or something.
Oh my God, that might be my favorite title of a contest ever.
Come and Shave It.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so you competed in the mustache category. You said you didn't do well, but what did you do? Which part of the mustache category were you in?
I was in the styled mustache category, and what I had going on at the time, I was just grew out a mustache, and the ends of them just start to, when I have a bunch of wax, like loose wax in it, they would just make curls that kind of head down, like two corkscrews on each side. And it would look pretty cool to me, but it definitely wasn't the top notch. There was 3 people that had won at the national championships and world championships there.
Wow.
In my category. I was like, wow, I need to level up here. I got to do a little bit better. The MC actually goofed on me. He found out I was from Minnesota, and he said my mustache had little curls. He said they looked like Nellie Olson's hair from Little House on the Prairie. So.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. So needless to say, I switched out of that style into something different. So, which is a good thing because now I have my own style. So, yeah, there was a lot to learn at the first one, I tell you that.
As you heard in that last segment, Kim is tickled by whiskers.
Truth. All right. So when you hear about MJ, he might be familiar to you. He's been on television before.
When you see him, you're going to go, oh, yeah, I've seen that dude.
Yeah, the style that he actually has now is pretty iconic.
Some call it the huge mustache. By some, I mean me.
It's like my mustache blends into my sideburns. I shave my chin and my neck all the way up to the jawline. And then it makes like a gigantic mustache on my face. Somebody measured it one time. It's like 18 or 19 inches across. So it's like a 1.5 foot mustache, kind of looks like on your face, that uses your mustache and sideburns all in one solid piece like that. In a smaller version, it has a category called the Imperial, but it's too big to be in that now. So some people call it the illegal Imperial.
Are you technically in a freestyle category then?
Yeah. I would be in a partial beard freestyle or sideburns freestyle.
Gotcha. So you said 1.5 feet. Sometimes it's hard for people to visualize measurements, are we talking like about as long as your forearm on each side?
Yeah, that's probably about accurate. I think it's even a little bit bigger than that now because I stopped trimming, so I'm just gonna go for like sheer size at this point.
Phenomenal.
So, yeah, phenomenal.
Sheer size. You think he was making a pun there
With the shearing.
with the shearing?
It's plausible. Man, you guys have got to go check out a picture of MJ. We have a picture of him on the website. His mustache is absolutely crazy.
I just thought of a way to visualize how big it is.
How's that?
All right, put your hand on make a fist. Mm-hmm. Put your hand on side of your face with your arm up.
Yep.
Do it on the other side too.
Yep.
That's how big his beard is.
That's what I meant by the forearm.
Yeah.
But we still really want you to go actually look at it.
Go now. Go check it out. We're going to wait right here until you get back. Go on.
I can tell you're still here.
Yeah. You didn't go yet.
Yeah.
There you go. Huh? Right? Right?
Right.
Right?
It's like two horns coming out the side of his face.
Right. Well, he's put that look to good use and been successful at competitions around the world.
Since then, I won the Minnesota State Championship, Wisconsin State Championship, did California, multiple contests on the East Coast, competed and got second place at the World Championships in Germany. I got fourth place at the World Championships in Austria, won national championships in Portland, New York, New Orleans. I mean, it was off Las Vegas. It was awesome. So I kind of made the tour a little bit, and everything went really well. The photos go crazy viral. After almost every contest, I just get like flooded with texts or messages or tags from like the photos will end up in Sports Illustrated, ESPN, CNN, Cosmopolitan, Ripley's Believe It or Not, National Geographic. They just go. It
hasn't always been snips and snails and puppy dogs' tails with a beard, though.
Not all sunshine and rainbows.
Not all sugar and spice.
Yeah, absolutely. I started growing really early. I had a dirt stash or like a crust stash in junior high, and I would get made fun of for it almost endlessly. I'd get goofed on by some girls, and I would go home and try to shave it off or try to get rid of it. So that feeling of kind of getting goofed on early on, now it's like a trademark for me, is a kind of a really, really fun turnaround. I remember, back in the day, my beard grows in pretty fast, and I used to be a sales rep at a job that I didn't like, and I had shaved earlier in the morning and went to the meeting at like 3 o'clock, and my beard had grown back a little bit already, and my bosses got mad at me saying I'm not taking things seriously by not shaving for a meeting. So I got in trouble there. This other job that I had that I didn't like, I had a really nice, like, shorter beard, and I liked it. But the boss came up to me with, in the middle of the shift, with a can of shaving cream and a razor blade.
No.
And said that they have important people coming in today and that he's going to need me to go and shave. And I was bummed. I did it. I felt bad about it, but I wanted to keep the job, or I needed the job. So my association with it was people don't like it. You can get in trouble. So then all of a sudden, tides turned, and being able to do these things and to be welcomed or celebrated almost for having a sweet beard feels really good. I thought that's something I could tell after like 1 or 2 years into it that something big was either going to happen or could happen, because in the first national championships I went to in Vegas, I ended up having a photo in Sports Illustrated. So I was like, wait a minute here. This is something. And then it's just kind of snowballed ever since then. So at the very beginning, I didn't think that anything would come of it. I just wanted to kind of throw my hat into the ring. And then, but I could tell after the first one that I saw something could happen, and I wanted to try at it.
Obviously, a lot of work goes into that look. And in case you imagined him walking around like that every day, he does not.
No way. I would hate that. That'd be too much. It's well, first of all, your peripheral vision is way down. I can't see out the sides if I have it styled up, and that makes driving tough. So I wouldn't want that. Plus, it takes like an hour or two to do it. So that's just too much time on a daily basis. So I have a couple looks that I use, like those little small rubber bands that are kind of meant for hair.
Sure.
I put like 8 or 10 of those on each sideburn on each side, and it kind of looks like a really long Viking mustache. Or I'll just put like a couple of the bigger bands in it, and it's really functional. It's easy, and I really like walking around like that in general. But if I know there's like an event or a special occasion, oh yeah, I'll definitely style up.
You said it takes you about an hour to style up. What type of products do you use?
Well, for I only use one like product. It's got to be glued. It's a hairspray that you're supposed to use for mohawks and like really like crispy hairstyles.
Yep.
But I just use that for my beard because it's got a ton of hold. Like I can walk out into wind conditions and I'll be all right. I actually I didn't know I was going kayaking one day. And I had styled up earlier in the day, and I'm like, wow, this is going to be brutal. I'm going to come out of here looking like a wet dog or something. But I was like, whatever, we're going to go. We were in Europe at the time, and I was like, this year, you're never going to get a chance to kayak in the Mediterranean again, so let's do it. So with 2 hours of kayaking in the Mediterranean, wind, getting splashed, I got out of there, and the Imperial looked better than when I got in because it got like ruffled up from the wind, and it was really big, so... Yeah, it's got a lot of hold to it, so I kind of stick with that.
Oh my gosh, what does your wife think about all this?
Well, she is more surprised than me. I'll tell you that much. I mean, she saw it go from. I just had like a bare face when we got married.
Oh, wow!
My husband's got like a 2-foot mustache on his face. So, but she likes it. The travel is there. You make a ton of friends at these beard contests. Like you make a lot of friends, and so I have friends all over the country and world. And so does she because of it too. So the people aspect of it, the people and adventure aspect of it is awesome. Plus, we work together. And when I say work together, I mean I let her pick everything. But we work together on like the outfits I wear for the contest, and it's a huge help. Like I wouldn't have even picked somebody at the beginning. I would just show up in like a T-shirt or something. But now I've leveled up with her, like getting outfits going. So we kind of work together as a team. As
we mentioned earlier, MJ did really well in the 2017 World Beard and Mustache competition. In fact, he won the cheek beard freestyle category.
I'm not even sure what that is, but it sounds cool. The 2017 competition was held in Austin, Texas, which was put on by the Austin Facial Hair Club, which brings us to our next guest, the VP of Communications for the Austin Facial Hair Club, Taylor Weldon.
A.K.A.
Bad Taylor.
That's right.
My name is Taylor Weldon. My official title is VP in Communications of Austin Facial Hair Club. Oh, man. So how did I get involved with the Facial Hair Club? I started growing out this kind of crazy mustache years ago. I just thought it was fun and, whatever. I could always grow facial hair really, really easily, if that makes any sense. When I was 13 years old, I was growing like a full beard. And at that time, I was a little bit embarrassed by it because all of my peers, they weren't getting facial hair. So I'm here shaving every single morning to try to look like everyone else. And, I guess I just sort of embraced it later on in life and was like, you know what? I guess these genes of mine, they allow me to grow facial hair really rapidly, I guess, and might as well just go with it. So I grew out a mustache and a short beard. I rotated through lots of different facial hairstyles, and I ended up with your traditional, curly handlebar mustache.
So his mustache was so impressive that he was recruited by the Austin Facial Hair Club.
I was working a farmer's market in Austin, Texas, and I see this guy walking to the farmer's market, and I've seen him around town. He's kind of hard to miss. He's got a beard down below his belt buckle, and I think I even knew his name. His name is Brian Nelson, and he's just a man about town. I see him everywhere. Like I said, hard to miss with a beard that big. He walks up and he says, "Hey, man, nice mustache." And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "So you should come with us to Norway." I was like, "What? Who's us? What's going on in Norway?" And he just laughs. And he's like, "Beard Club." And I had no idea what I was getting into. And he's like, yeah. And he told me, he's like, tomorrow there's an Austin Facial Hair Club meeting, and we're going to be discussing about sending several of our members over to Norway to compete in the World Beard and Mustache Championship. And I was like, you know what? I'll check this meeting out. And I showed up the next day, and it was just a whole bunch of really cool people from different backgrounds of life. I mean, you got software engineers, you have lawyers, you have chefs, it's such a wide variety of people. And that's the whole reason that they're together, is just facial hair. It's a really cool way to meet people.
What was it like walking into that bar?
It was a big meeting. There might have been 15 dudes with beards and mustaches and chops and, all sorts of different facial hair. And I'm a pretty confident guy, but, I gotta say, I was like, whoa. I was kind of taken back a second. But yeah, it was a little intimidating, I gotta say. But everyone was very nice. I think a lot of people think we're like a biker gang or something, but everyone's really nice and funny and good-hearted people.
All right, well, let's talk about the fun stuff. Did you end up going to Norway?
Yes, I went to Norway for the 2013 World Beard and Mustache Championships. And then 15 was Germany. 2017 was in a little place called Austin, Texas. And then 2019 will be Belgium, and 2021 will be New Zealand.
Very cool. Well, let's talk about your first big one in Norway. What was that experience like?
So that was wild. I mean, I'd been overseas many times before that, but never Norway. Traveling with a whole bunch of young, rambunctious Texans, it definitely stirred the pot in the World Beard and Mustache Championships, because traditionally, and now I'm friends with these guys, it's traditionally a bunch of European men, in their 50s up into their 70s, maybe as low as into their 40s. And, we're showing up there mid to late 20s folks, some 30s and 40s, but a younger demographic for sure, showing up with a suitcase full of whiskey bottles, cowboy hats, and we're having a good time. It definitely stirred the pot. They're like, who the hell is this? We were the most represented city in the world at the 2013 World Beard and Mustache Championships. But that was a lot of fun. It was very different from what we were accustomed to from our contests. And again, not better or worse, just a little bit more conservative, if you will. There's no cursing on stage. We have a comedian, Matt Bearden, and also Paul Hendricks, who are super witty and a lot of fun. They interview every competitor, and they make jokes. And we're there. It's very strict. And you walk up, you show your number to the judges, you continue walking, and then you go stand in line. So that part was a little bit different, a little bit more structured and things like that.
Did that structure make you nervous at all?
Not really, and that was probably because of all the bourbon that we brought over in our luggage. But yeah, it was definitely eye-opening, to be called into the room where they hold your category, which mine at the time was called Musketeer. And you walk into a room and you're with 12 different dudes, all who probably speak a different language. So you immediately just like nodding at each other and like looking at each other and just staring at each other and waiting to go out to get, your number called, and knowing that someone in that room is going to become the next world champion in the next few minutes.
For those of you keeping score at home, so far we have 2 musketeers. Are we going to get to 3?
The anticipation is building.
It is. So, as we mentioned before, the club hosting has control over all aspects of the competition, and that extends to our favorite part.
Trophies.
Trophies. Well, fancy dress is our favorite part, but trophies is our second favorite part.
Accurate.
Yeah.
So, for the World Championships, they're all unique. And they try to spin it where it's something related to the host country. For example, Austria, they have these giant chunks of quartz, which are known for coming from that region of Austria. I'm trying to remember when I won a trophy in Germany, that was just like a kind of a big gold trophy, like a big cup. And in Norway, I forget what the trophies looked like. I remember really wanting one, but none of us were able to bring one home.
Right.
But it really depends on what the club has at their disposal. And, because once we were given the honor to host the Worlds. It's like, okay, you figure out trophies, you figure out everything. Our trophies were pretty cool. We worked with a local sign and trophy shop that we've been working with for years and years. And they were just, big gold trophies that we definitely made sure they were big, but, traditional trophy as you can imagine it in your head.
These guys are so passionate about their facial hair.
Right.
It's more than just competing at this point. It's who they are.
Right. It's part of their element.
This is how I feel naturally, if that makes sense. I feel like people say, like, aren't you wearing a mask? And I'm like, if I cut my beard off, then I feel like I'm wearing a mask.
So the guy that Taylor mentioned earlier that had helped Taylor get his start in competitive beard and mustache world events.
Bearding.
That's right. His name is Brian Nelson, and Brian is very active in all things organizational when it comes to beard and mustache associations and competing.
And he's a heck of a nice guy.
My name's Brian Nelson, and I'm the president and one of the founders of the Austin Facial Hair Club. I'm also one of the vice presidents of the WBMA, which is the World Beard and Mustache Association, and I'm also the president of the North American Competitive Beard and Mustache Association. I've had a beard for a long time, since the 90s, before I knew about beard competitions or whatever, and I think in the very late 90s, people started telling me, oh, there's this thing, there's a world beard competition, and I just never thought it was something that I could do. And then years later, there was a little group in Austin, a little magazine called Misprint Magazine, and they started a totally tongue-in-cheek beard and mustache competition, and I was asked to judge it. And then our club formed right when they were starting that too, and then just kind of took off from there. We formed the Austin Facial Hair Club with the primary objective of going to Alaska for the 2009 World Beard and Mustache Championships. Just because there was a group of us, there's like 4 guys, and we had some friends and girlfriends and soon-to-be wives that wanted to come. There's, it's a great reason to go to Alaska. Any reason is a good reason to go to Alaska, I guess. But we were like, hey, let's go do this. It seems like fun.
So that was the
That's
first time that you competed globally?
That's the first time. Yeah, that was actually the first time I went to compete anywhere.
And what was it like?
It was really fun. Everyone was super. It was way more inviting than I guess I thought it would be. Everyone's really friendly. It's kind of like an instant family reunion just because there's all these people around that are kind of like-minded, at least in the area of doing something weird with their facial hair. And there's lots of people from Europe and Australia and like all over the place. And the language barrier quickly got broken down by pints of beer and ale. Awesome. It was just so much. It was just a lot of fun and really inviting, and then we're all hooked.
That sounds like a great time, actually.
Yeah, finding like-minded people to have fun with their face hair.
Yeah. I mean, that's what all these competitions are about, right?
Right.
Community of like-minded people.
Well, let's hear more about Brian and his beard.
Oh, yeah. His beard is epic.
It is beautiful.
Usually I compete in full beard natural, which is a category that's just like it sounds. There's no styling aids. It's just you and your beard.
And what would someone do in the natural category to up their chances? Do you brush it out or anything?
Yeah, I mean, you can brush it and you can use like a normal amount of oil or beard balm or whatever. You're not supposed to use hairspray or gel. It's just usually the judges are looking for just a natural beard. I don't know, people wear funny outfits. People have little, juggling routines or whatever they think is going to enhance their image in the judge's mind.
Have you ever done anything like that?
Prizes.
Juggling?
No, really. I'm usually pretty reserved. It's kind of a weird thing. Like, you wouldn't think you would get nervous doing something like that, but then suddenly you're about to get on stage and all these people are watching you and you're like, you can't really do anything.
That would totally make me nervous.
Around.
That absolutely sounds like something that would invoke nerves. How have you done in competition, aside from occasionally being a little nervous? Have you ever placed or won?
In a world competition, I got second in 2013 in full beard natural. That's the highest I've made it in the world stage. I have lots of other first place and best in show accolades from around the country.
Just like everyone else, Brian's got an origin story for his beard.
Got to start somewhere.
Once I was able to grow facial hair, I grew really long sideburns, which were the extent that the school would let me. They're kind of strict dress codes in Texas. But they were pretty long. I mean, they were like kind of Wolverine-style sideburns. I was surprised they let me have it that long.
Nice.
And I don't know. I just thought that I always thought that adult men looked cool with their beards. Like I always wondered why everyone always shaved. You know, you see historical pictures or Wild West pictures where people were being, really individualistic and unique people, and then everyone had some weird facial hair, mustache, or a wild beard, or there were a lot of. It seems like there was a lot more styles back then. And I just thought that was cool. And then somewhere in the early '90s, I read that I wasn't really happy with how my beard was growing. I've had wouldn't connect. My mustache wouldn't connect to my beard. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Like a little space by my mouth. But then I read somewhere that every guy, once in their life, they should grow their beard out for at least 1 year to see what it really looks like. And I did that, and then everything filled in, and I kind of basically never went back.
So he is never looking back, and instead he's looking forward to Belgium.
I am ready to go and see where that takes us. They're also adding the ladies or whiskerina or craft categories to their competition, which we were the first ones to add in Austin as far as an official category goes for a world competition. And it's really cool that the Belgian people decided to also add the whiskerina categories. It's amazing. These really creative women and some men, they just make these beards out of yarn or wire or paper mache or different craft items, and they just come up with the most amazing, whimsical creations.
That's
super
awesome.
cool, and it's really hard to if I've been a judge in front of them many times, and it's so hard to judge because everything is just amazing. We had one lady with she had a live fish in a fish bowl that was in her beard.
What?
Had whole mountain scenes with smoking volcanoes, and I think there was a Catwoman lady who had a cat with her. It was so cool. It's all so cool.
That is awesome. And how great that the very next competition after yours is going to continue that tradition. The odds of it taking legs now and always being a thing are going to be so much higher.
I really hope so. And I'm pretty sure that in New Zealand, which is the landing spot for 2021, and Auckland, New Zealand, they're going to do it too. My oldest daughter, Olympia, she's the current reigning third place freestyle mustache champion.
What?
So that's pretty great.
When did she start competing?
She started competing before she could talk. My wife used her as a prop several times in different beard competitions. We would draw little beards on her, mustaches. And then she started competing just because it's something that we do as a family. Sometimes we'll go to different cities, kind of make a little family road trip out of it. It's fun. We're trying not to force it on her. So if she wants to do it, she can do it. And then she makes her own beards or her own mustaches. So that's good.
So cool. What is her material of choice, or does she mix it up?
She mixes it up. She usually does some sort of elastic strap and then glues things to the strap. So it'll be kind of like a headband, but it'll go from under her nose over her ears. For the world, she had used some feathers from a rooster that we had killed and eaten. And she was pretty proud of that.
I think the whiskerina's part is awesome.
Absolutely. And I can't believe that his daughter competes and is a world champion.
Right. Yeah, I looked at some of the pictures and I was like, this should be interesting. But I was blown away by the art and the technique that these ladies do. It's really cool.
Yeah. And I mean, if a guy's not prone to growing,
right,
he can also join the whiskerina.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Or craft
beard, yes.
as it's called. Very cool and very, very inclusive. So any of you out there, male or female, if you are ready to start growing or creating some sort of facial hair, go to our website, rochambeaupodcast.com. You can link over from there to the World Beard and Mustache Championship, learn more, and maybe consider joining your local facial hair club.
Right. Get on out there and grow.
All right, check this out. During our season break, we got an email from Scott Sikora, who hosts a podcast called The Beardcaster. He had heard me being interviewed on a different podcast. That's a podcast about podcasting. He was so intrigued by our idea of competitions, he wanted to make sure that we knew that there were beard competitions and that he does a podcast specifically about beard competitions. Coincidentally enough, we told him that's going to be our season 2 premiere.
I'm like, you don't know how tickled I mean, literally, it was the day I was listening to that and I heard you talking about these competitions. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And then I send that email and then you respond back and I was like, what are the chances of that? Hi, my name is Scott Sikora, and I am the Beardcaster. Well, I started at the end of 2015, so I'm going on about 18 years right now. I'm not really good with math and subtraction and stuff.
Tell me about your beard or your facial hair. What do you have going on?
I have natural goatee, and that's categorized as a beard that's not connected from ear to ear. I don't know exactly how long it is right now, but I've been growing it for 9.5 years. I trim it constantly to keep it nice and healthy and thick and full, because when you go to competitions and stuff, the judges are looking for, really nice, healthy, thick, full, colorful beards, and, those will get you the most points and stuff like that. Somehow I stumbled upon this whole weird thing of the beard community and competitions and stuff like that, and it was like, then I found my home, and it's like I've never felt like more like just in touch with a group of people, and it's so family oriented, and it's just like you make such great friends, and it's like it's like this whole time, my whole life, that growing a beard, I've been missing one thing, and I finally found it with this.
You found your community.
I did, and it's changed my life dramatically. I mean, that part has, but also doing the podcast, because the podcast has made me dive deeper into what it's really all about, and it's really unearthed a lot of things that just being a competitor, I never would have gotten to know about.
So when you started the Beardcaster, what was your vision for it? What did you want to do?
I had been wanting to start a podcast since late 2000s, and I kept always dreaming. I'm like, I want to start a podcast. I want to start a podcast. What am I really passionate about? And I was talking to a friend of mine. He's like, you do a lot of beard stuff, so why don't you talk about beards? I'm like, it's just really actually kind of smart. And then he's like, well, what would you name it? And I'm like, well, I don't know, the Beardcaster. But I mean, it was like literally that quick, that fast, and I went and looked for the URL. It was available, and I'm like, I bought it, and I'm like, this is it, I'm doing it. And I'm like, I'm just going to start talking to people at competitions. And my vision ultimately was to try to expand the world of competitive bearding, to introduce people to the people that are involved in the scene, the people that are doing the great things, the charities that we're helping out. It's making a difference. That was like my reason. It was my reason to share what was going on.
How cool is that, right?
Right.
So special thanks to Ronnie, MJ, Taylor, Brian, and of course, Scott, the Beardcaster. And if you want to get to know some more extraordinary competitors, check out the Beardcaster podcast. You can find it everywhere you find our podcast. So you guys know one of our goals here at Rochambeau is to encourage you to get out there and try new things. And if you guys are in Atlanta, Georgia, and you've never checked out the Little 5 Points Halloween Parade, we highly encourage you to do so. It's coming up soon, Saturday, October 20th. Ted and I will be there, and we will be on foot in the parade. We are joining the crew of Optical Delusions. So if you guys come to the parade and you see our crew, please come and say hi to Ted and I. We would love to meet you.
We want to thank Cadillac Jones for the music for this episode and all our episodes. They're awesome. If you get a chance to see them, go check them out.
So aside from our podcasts being available on RochambeauPodcast.com, we have plenty of pictures to go along with each episode. And we've also started a new section called Otter Still.
Otter Still, not OTTER.
Although we did consider making a little, what do you call it?
Like a
mascot?
Yeah.
Which I think should still be on the table.
I think we ought to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otter Still is a section on the website that is articles about competitions and events that just for one reason or another aren't quite appropriate for a podcast, but we still wanted to tell you guys about them.
Yeah.
And hey, we're always asking you for subscriptions and reviews because honestly, it's really the best way for us to grow this podcast. But right now we are in a friendly competition with some other podcasters who are on the same hosting platform that we are. And if we can get the most subscribers between today and the 1st of next month, we will win a free month of hosting.
This sounds a lot like a pledge drive.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you get something for free,
Right.
You do something that's free.
Yeah, do it now.
Why not?
Next time on Rochambeau, Kim, look into the magic 8-ball. What do you see?
Ooh, the magic 8-ball. All right. Ooh, little hung up between sides. You know how it gets fussy. Okay. All signs point to Vegas.
Ooh, Vegas, huh?
All right.
I can't wait.
Till next time, people.
Goodbye. Well, it hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows with a beard, though. It hasn't always been snips and snails and puppy dogs' tails with a beard, though. It hasn't always been Laverne and Shirley with a beard, though. Yes.